Gary, thank you for speaking with me. You've just finished doing the forecast here at Geneva, and you mentioned that 30 customers are involved with the development of the CSeries. And when you mentioned that, it occurred to me that Boeing did something very similar with the 777, bringing customers in. They had the first airplane called Working Together. It was a very successful program. It worked out very well. Do you anticipate the same kind of reaction from these customers that are helping you develop the CSeries?
Yeah, the simple answer is yes. But let me elaborate, because I obviously was at Boeing when the 777 was developed, and you're right. It was the first time that Boeing truly brought in significant numbers of customers to help configure, to define, the airplane, to get it right for them, and so that if or when they ultimately bought this aircraft, it would have their fingerprints all over it, and so they brought in a large number of customers. They as you said, it became a very good airplane. I want to come back to and point out, because I'll talk about orders here in a minute, that the 777 is extremely successful now. And it had a flurry of success when it first went into service, but then it went actually down in production for a quite long period of time. And I would say it wasn't until 10 years after the delivery of the first 777, and especially with the later version, the 777-300, that it became 300ER, that it became the success that you point out. Boeing used the same model on the 737 next generation, which I led the division to introduce that airplane while I was at Boeing, and they of course used it on the 787. So we're deploying the same basic process, and so we have 30 customers. It's a cross-section geographically around the world, and it's a cross-section of network as well as low-cost carriers, and so they're helping to build the CSeries in a way that will satisfy all their needs over the next 20 years. And the issue about any new airplane is it's really a compromise. All these airplanes are compromises of all the different airline inputs, and so you try to build an aircraft that's right in the middle of that bell curve. So it satisfies the bulk of the airlines, and you don't end up building an airplane that's way out on 2 or 3 standard deviations out on the bell curve. So like the 777, later in its life, many of those initial customers ended up buying the aircraft, and while we have 30 airlines now involved in defining the CSeries, I anticipate that many, if not all, of those airlines will ultimately become a CSeries customer as well. So it's the preferred way of developing airplanes, new airplanes these days.
Thank you.